I have a real tractor here on me. So, well, good morning, everyone, and thanks, Mike. It's really great to have everybody here. And as Mike said, I think hopefully we can try to make some strides into trying to work more collaboratively together. And I think this was the purpose for having our guest on today, is to try to think about how we can actually do that. So, for our guests, just a quick snapshot, I guess, some of the data. So, UTAP is about 24,000 students. We have probably about 72 bachelor programs, 74 master's programs, and 21 PhD programs on campus. So relatively new. We just celebrated our 100th anniversary, actually. So our birthday just 2 years ago. But I think what's happened in the last 20 years has really been a transition from more of a teaching university to a research-intensive university. And I think this is a big change. And so I think as we're starting to grow, we're going through these growing pains of trying to be more research active. So what you may not know is UTEP has really been striving to be a Tier 1, we call this. Doesn't mean anything to anybody other than Texas, but Tier 1, which is $100 million a year in annual research expenditures and 200 PhD graduates a year. So right now we're at about $90 million a year in annual research expenditures. We have somewhere in the neighborhood of about 140 PhD graduates a year, so that number fluctuates. But our total grant portfolio now is about $380 million. So not super high, but we're clearly, I think, on our way to doing some great things. And I think the president of the university has really invested dramatically in this institution, including this building, the biosciences. But if you look around the campus, there's probably been close to $400 or $500 million in new construction. We have a new interdisciplinary research building, this biosciences research building, chemistry, computer science, health science, nursing building. So it's really been a strong investment. So I think trying to figure out how we can leverage that and work together, I think, is a big driving for us for our programs. So that's why we're so happy to see everybody here, because we haven't really done a lot of this. I think we've been a little bit siloed, and so this is really a great opportunity to do this. So really like to thank Mike and Maria for helping to organize today's activities. So what I was going to do is just tell you a little bit about some of the things that are happening in the science. And one of the key aspects, I think, for the molecular side of the house is a program that we have, which we call the Border Biomedical Research Center, BBRC. And this is really an NIH grant that supports biomedical research, so I'm the PI of that. It's from NIMHD, is the institute. It's a little over $15 million. And the key for that really is to build the infrastructure. So we've done a great job on building these high-end cores and trying to build research capacity. And it's allowed us to hire some faculty in the molecular side. But one of the things we're really trying to do is broaden that into more of the social science side. And at the same time, try to figure out how we can work together with more of the other colleges, because we really feel like we're not tapping into and making the strides that we could and should for the community itself, which, as you know, is about 90% Hispanic. And so this is just kind of just a brief overview. So within the BBRC itself, it's primarily three focus areas. It's really infectious diseases, immunology. We call another group of neuromodulation, and toxicology and cancer. And so most of the faculty hires that we've made over the last several years have been in this area within the BBRC. And then we've built some key support labs for statistical consulting. A newest one, which is the community engagement, which you'll hear from Bibi a little bit about later. Bioinformatics, biomolecule analysis, genomic analysis, and cytometry and screening. And the key part about this is all of these cores are staffed primarily with PhDs. So the take-home message is anybody can utilize these cores. So even if you're not an expert in mass spectrometry, it doesn't really matter. We have somebody there that is. If you want to do a genetic study, you don't have to know how to sequence DNA or how to generate exome work. We do that for you. So the whole key aspect of this is we just want to drive collaborations and partnerships and drive research. So here, I won't go through them, but here's some of the leadership within these individual groups. And we're happy to give tours today. I don't know if we have a tour set up, Mike. So we'll tour some of those facilities. But I would just tell you that if you look through the capabilities in each one of these groups, we really have high-end technology. This building houses most of the molecular labs. So we probably have close to about $20 million in equipment and technology in this building. But the key point is that it's staffed with technical personnel that can run those studies for you. So that's really one of the key take-home messages. If you look through here, you can see a little bit of a readout of what everybody's been doing and things that are happening. I would just tell you, for all of you, what this group is really doing is trying to leverage what we have in this region in the community. So we're collecting tissue samples, we're doing a lot of patient work. All of you should know we have MOUs with all the local hospitals. Tenet Healthcare, which is one of the largest healthcare providers in the country, we have an MOU with them as well. So getting access to patient samples, trying to do these types of studies, we already have a lot of those things in place. So even though we don't have the medical school side per se, we have a lot of the resources and the agreements with those schools to be able to do that kind of work. And so, again, one of the things we have done very well is have the molecular side, I think, really carved out. But we haven't been able to do is really think about how we can engage the community. And I think all of you have been doing this or do this every day. And how can we bring both of these groups together, which I think is a key point for us. So that's just a quick snapshot of the College of Science. I don't know if anybody has any questions over that piece or anything I can answer at this present time. And I think what Mike said is just the point. It's just for us to try to work together and think about how we can generate some ideas and, of course, how we can bring in more funding and really do some exciting work. And, of course, I think all of you know and appreciate that whatever we do in our labs, our students benefit. And you know the president and all of us are very strong and strongly committed to the undergraduate students that are here at this institution and creating opportunities for them. And this is just another case where we can do that. Okay, so Shafiq.